Quack quack, everybody. First of all, as a working musician, I feel obligated to say my thoughts on this. Disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice. This is my emotional reaction as a guitar player and working musician. There's probably holes in what I'm saying, and probably you can totally pick apart what I'm saying and make me feel bad. Please don't do that. I just want to say my emotional reaction to the Fender Paul Reed Smith lawsuit. Here's my simple reaction. Fender, come on, man! Now, before you jump into the comments, I'm not talking about actual counterfeit guitars, fake Fenders. If someone's slapping a Fender logo on a fake guitar and selling it on DHgate or AliExpress as it's the real thing, that's wrong, Fender. You have total permission. Go after those. That's totally okay. Go after that all day long. But when I look at something like the Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky, which Fender is suing over, I don't see a counterfeit Fender. I see a guitar that was inspired by the Stratocaster, but is clearly its own thing. I've played both, by the way, too. I don't just see it, I feel it, I hear it. I see a Paul Reed Smith headstock. I see the Paul Reed Smith bird inlays. And the guitar says Paul Reed Smith right on the guitar. Nobody in the world is confusing a Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky with a Fender Stratocaster. And here's the part that just really gets to me. The Silver Sky exists because John Mayer wanted something different than a Stratocaster. For years, John Mayer was one of Fender's biggest artists. He played custom Stratocasters. He had signature Stratocasters. You could buy them. He helped make an entire generation of guitarists fall in love with just the Fender Stratocaster. But eventually he wanted changes. He grew as a musician. He wanted more. Fender did not listen to him. Paul Reed Smith did. And Paul Reed Smith built the guitar John Mayer wanted that Fender would not build, the Silver Sky. And to me, that's totally okay. That's competition. That's the free market working the way it should. The Silver Sky isn't successful because people think it's a Fender. It's successful because people genuinely either like John Mayer or they genuinely like the tweaks that Paul Reed Smith did with the design. And we've seen similar things before. Paul Reed Smith has been down this path before. Years ago, Gibson sued Paul Reed Smith over the single cut. I actually used to own a Paul Reed Smith SE single cut. It's the one that got away. I shouldn't have got rid of it. I regret it every day. I miss that guitar like the sun misses the flower in winter. I wish I'd never sold it. It was great. It was red. It had the moons instead of the birds, which was a womp womp. But I enjoyed that guitar, but it was not a Les Paul. It didn't sound as chonky, as thick as a Les Paul. It had similarities in appearance, but it was clearly a different instrument than a Les Paul. And what bugs me is this whole battle, Fender and Paul Reed Smith, it sounds and feels like the wrong battle. This isn't a musician's decision. This is a boardroom decision. Bottom dollar. The CEO probably isn't even a musician, which neither was Leo Fender, but at least Leo Fender got musicians. But anyhow, this is not a musician's decision that's happening. The Stratocaster is one of the most influential electric guitars ever made. It's good. It's beautiful. It's timeless. And of course, other builders have been inspired by it. That's what's been happening for decades. And here's the thing, too. Let's be honest. Fender's own family of brands shows how guitar designs evolve over time. And they've also copied the Strat. Fender owns Jackson, which are super Strats, supercharged versions, interpretations, reinterpretations of the Strat. Kind of like the Silver Sky. Charvel. Charvel is like a top dollar shreddy Strat too. That's also a Strat copy, and Fender owns them. They say that Paul Reed Smith can't do this, but the companies they own were built on that. And then EVH guitars right there. Fender owns EVH. That is a Strat copy that Eddie's playing. That, you know, it was an old body, factory second made out of ash. Then a Boogie Body's neck right there that he put a little humbucker pick 'em on. Fender says you can't copy the Stratocaster, but they own 3 companies in the FMIC Corporation that were built. Their lineage is built on copying the Strat and improving on the Stratocaster. So that's not theft. That's guitar history. That's the instrument itself evolving. Now, a company that I'm a fan of, Martin Guitars. Martin does not spend time suing everyone who builds a dreadnought-shaped steel string acoustic guitar. They totally could. They invented the dreadnought, but they don't because they're decent fellas. They don't go after every acoustic guitar that uses X bracing. Almost everyone uses X bracing. They're fine fellas. They don't do that because they've realized at some point certain ideas become the language of guitar building. And Fender should know this. Years ago, Fender tried to secure a broader trademark protection for some of the body shapes like the Stratocaster and the Telecaster. And other manufacturers challenged these claims and won because the designs work. They're so influential, they became part of the industry itself. So Fender can't do that, but that's not a bad thing. They can't protect that. But it's not bad. It means Fender created something legendary that has changed how we build guitars. The Stratocaster changed music. It changed how guitars were built. And people are going to take what they like about this and build instruments inspired by the Stratocaster. That's not a real Strat, by the way. That's a Super Strat, technically, the Franken Strat. They're going to build instruments inspired by them forever. And that's not a bad thing, Fender. Come on. It's proof, Fender, that you have won. You've already won. The fact that builders are inspired by the Stratocaster, build kind of copies with slight changes, that's not a threat to your legacy. That is your legacy. And I don't understand, Fender, why you're focused on legal arguments when the real answer is sitting right in front of you. Build better guitars. You're already good, but build better ones. Build the guitars that guitar players just can't stop talking about, because that's how competition is supposed to work. If you're threatened by the Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky, which I played them, they're great. They're different than a Fender Strat. They're great. I prefer the Silver Sky. I played them at music stores. I've never bought one, but just build a guitar better than the Silver Sky. That's what you got to do. That's how competition in the free market works. And then, so that's just what I got to say. But I do want to end on something positive. I don't want to be the guy who rants. There's enough of those people on the internet. Here's what I got to say. Despite everything I've said about I don't like Fender's behavior, and even though I have guitars from several different companies, I like Fender. I like the history of Leo Fender. The designs are just classic. They're great. And it's sad. Another thing, too. I own one Fender. This is my much maligned. People do not like the Fender Acoustasonic Jazzmaster, which I have renamed Jingle Master. I had to change it. I made it a Nashville tuning machine, so both in the studio and live, you can add some angel hair, some high end to anything you're playing. So, Fender, this is a good idea by me. I'd be okay if you copied me. That'd be okay. Just say the duck told you to do this. But I like this thing. It does what I want it to do. It does what I need it to do. And when I bought it, I loved having Fender on the headstock. And right now, it's kind of embarrassing to have this on the headstock now. But the good thing is most people will get over this soon. And it's just disappointing. I like this guitar. And now Fender's doing some weird stuff that is not for the best for them. They're going to actually hurt from this more than get helped. Because Fender, you don't need to do this. You don't need to pick on Paul Reed Smith. They've already beat Gibson. They're going to beat you. And Fender, you've already won. Historically, you've already won. Paul Reed Smith makes a great guitar, but you've built some of the most influential guitars in history, and your designs are so good that generations of builders want to copy you and improve on you. But that's not bad. That's a feather in your cap. You got the ball rolling. And yeah, remember, before you go after the Silver Sky, you guys own Charvel Super Strats. You own Jackson Dinkies. You own the EVH Frankenstrat replicas that you can buy. All three of those are copies of the Strats or something that's built off of it. Guitar design has always evolved by builders taking great ideas and pushing them in new directions. In Fender, that's not something to be afraid of. That's legacy. And so my message to anyone at Fender who's making these calls right now, just drop this and get back to doing what made people like me love Fender in the first place. Build amazing guitars, build innovative guitars, and build guitars that make fellas like me excited. And if Paul Reed Smith is building something like the Silver Sky that people currently prefer and are buying more of, don't beat them in the courtroom. Beat them in the guitar shop. Beat them with craftsmanship. Beat them in quality control. Beat them with innovation. Beat your competition by building the best instruments that you can. Because that's what Leo Fender did. That's what made Fender legendary. Because the Stratocaster's influence isn't something that needs to be defended. It's something that should be celebrated. If other builders are still chasing your ideas 70 years later, that's not a threat to you. That's proof that you have changed the guitar world for the better. So pat yourselves on the back, drop the lawsuit, and go build the next great guitar. And stay lucky, stay ducky, and once you build it, send one to me for free, please. I love that. Or not. Have a good one.